Hello, welcome. Welcome, I'm Jonathan Kay. I'm the president of SimsUshare and CommandSim. Thank you for joining us in this user group meeting entitled How to Create and Share Simulations Across Your Entire Department in 15 Minutes. What we're going to do is a fast-paced way of getting simulations out to everyone who you'd like to share them with in your department. I'm joined also with Judy Smith, our Sales and Marketing Director. Judy, are you there?
I'm here. Yep. Good morning and welcome, everyone.
We're going to be recording this meeting, and we'll later be able to let you know how to find these recordings. We've also created a set of new training tutorials, so we've got a lot in store in the next few weeks. And Judy, will you watch for questions and things as I sort of go through this? Go through what I have here?
Yep.
Okay, wonderful. Well, the purpose is we're going to spend about half an hour going through the material. Actually, it should take about 10 minutes to set up, so a little bit less than 15 minutes. And then we'll have a lot of time for questions and things that you may be interested in finding out about this or other topics with SimsUshare. Before we discuss the idea of making the program available through your whole department on a shared network, here are a couple reasons that we're finding that people want to allow simulations and access throughout the department. Enabling the access to the Sims everywhere just gives more people the opportunity to practice training with pictures and incidents in your first do. Giving the more self-starters, the company offices who want to create training, who want to use training between calls, giving them the opportunity to share techniques with their crews. Really facilitating a learn by doing. The typical presentation has always been an instructor teaching others, but everyone knows how valuable it is to encourage the participants to think about problems and share those with others and think about the different strategy and tactics for the solutions. And in terms of promotional exam preparation, a number of departments are using simulations as part of their operational aspects of the promotion, and so the idea that giving your department access to a tool that lets them practice for those promotional exams is going to help them be better oriented and focused for the actual exams. So in the next, I would say, 15, 20 minutes, we're going to go through the basic idea of installing and playing Sims with what we call the SimsUshare Network version, which is a SimsUshare version you can put onto a shared network folder, and then you can run on Windows from any computer that's connected to that shared folder. And what I'm going to show as well is how you configure the simulation loading from a shared area. So many of you are training officers or chief officers who want to disseminate simulations to the department, and this way you can have a specially designated place to put simulations, and then you can give directives to your department about where to find those. The last step is loading your own Sims into that common area. So typically you'll have your own area for prepping and creating the simulations, and then you can copy those into the area that's accessible to your whole department. And a couple ways of organizing those simulations into different groupings. And finally, we're going to talk about some questions. So the next step here, let me lower my presentation for one moment. And well, hopefully now you'll all see my my window. What I'm going to do first is to get the program. You visit our website, SimsUshare.com, and in the Get the App area, we have Download Free Sim Viewer. Now, the Free Sim Viewer is the basic program that can be upgraded to the Create Edit tool by getting a license. But the Free Sim Viewer lets you play simulations that you created both with our new Platinum version and the version 1, which was the SimsUshare 2012. So on this page, it tells us about how to buy it, how to request the trial. If I select a platform here, I'm going to say for Windows, because I'm interested in the version that can be installed in a network shared folder. When I click on Windows, I don't want the first download here, which is the individuals. I want to go down to where it says Network Viewer, and you can see here we have some installation instructions, but the important thing is the MSI format. That's a Windows installer format. So when I click on that, it's going to download the program, and I've already downloaded it into this file over here on the left-hand side that says SimsUshare Network MSI. Now, in preparation for where I'm going to put this, I created a shared folder that I said my training share network, so training share drive. So many of you have networks, we have certain folders you can share, and I just created an N folder on my share. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a new folder here, a new folder which is going to be for the SimsUshare app. Now, you don't have to name it that, but what we're going to do is put the program into this folder. That way it'll be accessible to anyone who can connect to this shared drive. So I'm going to run the MSI. It's going to come up with some installation information. I'm going to go here and browse. I'm going to browse over to my share folder, into my SimsUshare app folder, and I'm going to hit OK, and I just basically hit next until it's going to go and install it. It'll should ask me some security questions. And once it's done, it says it's completed, I say finish. And what it's done is, on the computer I installed it on, it's created a link off on the left-hand side of the bottom, SimsUshare Network. Now, what you're going to do with your installation is to, on any computer that where you want to use this, you're going to be able to create the shortcut on the desktop of those computers. So now what I'm going to do as well, in this training share, in this training share folder, I am going to now create a new folder, which is going to be where I'm going to have my simulation. So let's say I'm going to make a simulation folder called Public Sims. Now, I don't mean public to the general public. This is just for your own department. So now, if I actually go into this file, let's say I am accessing it from another computer, I'm going to be executing the SimsUshare EXE application. And that's what you would tell your crew to go and do. When I open this up, first time on each computer, it will ask me the language I want to set. And it will go through its basic installation. It has installed, accept this, gives a little message. And now the viewer has three options, new, edit, play. When it's not licensed, it won't let you create or edit a scenario. If you have a license for the network viewer, you just go in the menu here and go the upgrade to platinum and enter your license for the computer. But right immediately, if I now hit play, I now actually have two scenarios, or really an overview and a welcome sim, that it places into the computer, the local computer I'm running on, just by default. So I'm actually playing a scenario here. So now the key thing to understand about this, when the program starts out playing simulation, it is actually using, I'm going to go open up my document folder. It's created on the local computer, the one I'm running on. It's created a SimsUshare folder. And inside that folder is where it has the Sims. So if I open that, I see there are two folders, one called SUS Demo, the other called Welcome. And now those are the two simulations. But that's on my local machine. Now those are not accessible to someone who would be running this program from another machine. So what I want to do now is to show how to configure the program so that instead of drawing from the local machine, it's going to draw the scenarios from that public Sims folder that I created. I'll just sort of bring that up over here. Off of my sharing drive, I created this public Sims folder, which is currently empty. So what I have to do, and this is the little bit of a technical part, is I'm going to open up, and you only have to do this one time, I'm opening up the SimsUshare app folder that I created. And inside here, there's a folder called config. And inside config is a file called simfolders.xml. And so I'm going to edit this file. This is what I have to tell it to draw from the shared folder, not my local folder. I'm going to edit, and I have a program called Notepad++, but that you can use different text editors. I'm going to open it with that. You can open it up with WordPad if you're on Windows and other text editors. You don't want to use Microsoft Word because it adds a lot of formatting stuff in it. So you want to use something like WordPad or Notepad++. So I'm opening this up, and this gives me the information. This is telling me all the different folders I can create. And the key line here is on line 14, where it says Sim folders. I'm going to add in a line, and you may direct your IT people to do this or do it yourself if you have access to it. I'm going to type in base, I'm going to say base sim folder equals, now I'm going to use the double quote, N, and this is where I put in the way to get to that shared file, public sims. So it's important you have here base sim folder equals double quote, and now this is where the N:/ is the computer way of saying where it resides on your computer. Public sims is the name of the folder that we created, and then double quote ends it. So what I'm going to do now is save this. So if I now close SimsUshare for a moment, I'm going to minimize this over here. And now if I run SimsUshare again, and now play, now it's only saying I have one simulation in here. Now what's happened is we have now reassigned the default place to get simulations from the local computer to the shared folder. And that's what now, once anyone runs the program from the shared folder, it will use the shared folder as the place to draw simulations from. And I can see here, welcome sim. It's going to play my simulation, the SimsUshare with the explosion. Now if I look at my folders, let me go here, and if I look at my folders on my shared drive, now I go into my public sims folder. Now you'll notice it actually has a folder called Sims, which are the collection of simulations, and it has a catalog. If I look inside of Sims, now it has the welcome scenario. So now the program is configured to run from the, public folder as opposed to the local folder of the computer. And that really is now all we have to do to put Sims into the public folders. Let's say you've got some simulations you've created, and I'm going to open up another folder here on my computer with, when I'm running SimsUshare, I have, let's say I've created my own scenarios, and I say here, I've got, let's say, I'm going to go and I'm going to take this, let's see what's an interesting one. I will take house, garage, or I'll take high rise. And so this is a simulation I created using my own SimsUshare, and this is where you've been preparing it. I'm going to go and I'm going to copy it, and I can copy multiple at the same time. But I'm going to go now back over to my Training Share Public Sim folder, and I'm going to just paste it in place here, wherever the paste is. So now I have a high rise and I have welcome. And let me bring in some others as well. I'll bring this other storefront victim just so we see what happens. So now we're at storefront victim. So now, when I'm going to close SimsUshare, it's easier to close and restart it. But if I start it from any place now, it's going to, the first computer will let me, the first computer that's run, so it adjusts its catalog of simulations, will say, hey, I found 2 new sims. Should I add them? High rise and storefront 2 victims. And of course, you're going to say yes. And now we're back over here. And now when I play my scenarios, I now have both the storefront one and I have my whatever my high rise one is as well. So that's really essentially how you now in like maybe about 10 minutes or 15 minutes, what we've done is to install, we've installed the, let me go back to my PowerPoint over here. We've installed and playing Sims with SimsUshare Network. We've configured the sim loading from a shared area. And I've shown basically how you load your own Sims into a common area. So what I'm going to do now is open up for questions, and then what I'm going to do is show you now a little bit more about organizing once I see if you have any questions currently. I'm going to stop the screen sharing for a moment, and Judy, if you want to, if people have any questions or they can help.
Absolutely. If anybody has any questions, I know that was a little fast for me to follow along, so I'm sure there are a few questions. Please come right out and ask. You can chat directly if you want to reach out and ask a question, or you can use the put up your hand feature. Any questions?
Okay. I heard someone typing, but I don't know.
Yeah, I heard them as well, but I don't know. That could be not to us, to something else.
Oh. Okay, well, I'm going to continue on. If other people don't have any questions, I'm going to go back to, let's see, I'll share my screen again. So we've gone through the very basics of making the SimsUshare accessible and configuring from the shared area how to set it up to go to your shared drive as opposed to loading the simulations from the person's local drive and then loading the sims into the common area. One of the things that we have often people ask is, can there only be a single folder? Like that public sims, it was just one folder. What I'm going to show you, when you have the network version, what you can do is, I'm going to open up SimsUshare right now and show you, when you have the actual licensed version, and let me go back here, and I'm going to now upgrade to the Platinum Network. I'm going to enter in my one-time code here. It's going to, it's usually just, I miss, okay. So now when you actually have the network version license, that's not, let me restart it here. Okay, so you have the network version license. Now I'm able to actually edit. If I actually edit the same scenarios over here, these are now connected to the public area. What I can do is with the network version, is to add a sim folder. So let's say instead of just that single folder, I want to have, let's say I want to have March sims or something. So I can actually create a folder, and I'm going to now go here. Let's say I'm the training officer. I'm going to go to my training share folder here, and I'm going to create a new folder, and I'm going to call this one the March sims or something. And that's the folder I'm going to select. Now what you'll notice is that the list gets divided. So now you have my simulations, which we made as the public by default, and we have March sims. And I can actually go here and say, let me copy, let's say from the public, I can go and say, copy sim to March sims. So I'm coming from my simulations, copy it into that. Give me a name for this, and I'm going to say it's my storefront. And now I can copy it in. This is a little thing to show you sort of collapse or not collapse. So what I've done over here now is I've created two folders. I have a public folder, and I have another folder I've done in public. If I want to make my own folder, I can go here and add a sim folder and make it my own private sims. And my private sims over here will now, let's say it's not on the training share, but I'm actually going to go to my own document and create a new folder, which is going to be Jonathan private sim. So the purpose here is you can actually create several folders, and you can move your simulations around. So for example, you could be preparing simulations in your private area and then copy them over into the public area when you're ready to release them to the general public, to your department. So this is available with the network version, where you can create and group your sims however you'd like. And we can certainly, as people have interest in understanding how to configure multiple folders for the public, we can talk about how to configure your your SimsUshare to have that so everyone opens to multiple folders. So, for example, maybe each station has their own set of folders that are accessible to other stations. So a public folder for each station simulation. So there's a lot of different configurations that you can have here. And just as an example, you can move things in, copy into whichever folder you'd like. And you'll see here how you can have multiple simulations and kind of hide the ones that you may not be wanting to see at the moment. Now, when I actually go here and I've copied hotel, the high-rise, into my private sims, these are now distinct simulations. So if I modify hotel, it's not going to modify the high-rise simulations on the public folder and vice versa. There are also some things you can add here to make your folders play only. So if you don't want people to be able to edit, and they do actually have the network version where they can edit simulations, you can mark in that configuration file a way to say, this folder is only for playing simulations, not for editing them. So I'm going to go back over here, and I don't know if I heard a little beep. I don't know if it was a question or not.
No questions out, Jonathan.
But, I mean, I covered really how to install the network version. Again, if you're not the IT person, we have instructions about that, and being able to review this video and other support videos. Covered about how you create it in a shared folder, how you copy simulations into that folder, and then how you make it accessible to everyone in your apartment through your shared folder. And then a little bit about how you can create multiple simulation folders to organize the types of simulations, make it easy for you to create them, but not necessarily share those until you're ready to put them into the publicly accessible area. So thank you very much for your attention.
Jonathan, sorry,
yes?
I do have a question. This is from James Bryla. The question is there a way to play Sims in a synchronized mode across all PC with player apps?
Okay, so is there currently what should I say, the program runs on the computer without interaction with other computers, so it's not possible to have two computers yet synchronize their screens. However, one thing you might do if you were in a training station that actually had ways to beam different screens, you may not have noticed that in the program itself there is in the Windows and Mac version, a place to say New Window. And if I go to New Window here, and let's say I can create a new window. So there may be a solution using screen kind of beaming technology to have, I'm going to now run 3 windows at the same time. Now, if you were in a single station, you might have multiple displays, and that way the display could go to a room, into different rooms. So if I go here now, and I say play, let's say this storefront one, and I go over here to play the same thing. So the changes that happen in one will actually can be reflected in the other. So now each person will move around independently, but you can have multiple screens at the same time, and you'd have one person who could control each of the screens, even if they were being beamed separately. So that's the long answer. Short answer is currently we don't have that synchronization, but it is something on our agenda, hopefully for a future release, to be able to synchronize across multiple stations.
Thank you. Are there any more questions? Okay, Jonathan, it doesn't look like there's any more questions. Thank you very much.
My pleasure. Thank you all for joining us. And certainly, if you do have any questions, please contact Judy or myself. We're happy to help. And if you'd like help in configuring the program for your department, we're more than happy to help walk you through and show you how to be able to realize what you'd like to accomplish with SimsUshare.
Fantastic. Thank you very much, Jonathan. Everybody have yourself a wonderful day and stay warm.